come with me. This week I will be showing you what we eat in a week. We are a family of 3, myself, my husband, and my 1-year-old boy. I'm all about simple cooking, but I also really enjoy good food as well. So come with me and I'll show you a little bit of what we eat in a week. Okay, so the first thing I do is I go through the fridge and the freezer and I see what kind of meat we have, and I'm trying to use up that. So we own a restaurant, so we often have like leftover meat, leftover scraps. So I just go through that and I make some sort of meal plan for the week, just using that leftover scrap. Either the pigs get the leftovers from the restaurant or we do, so. But there's nothing wrong with a lot of this food. It makes really, really good meals. Okay, so I found this random mango in the fridge. So tonight I'm going to make like a mango slaw, and then I also have some pork cutlets. So we grow our own pigs on our farm, and we love heritage pork, and we really love to know where our meat comes from. So with the restaurant, that's why we're growing our own pork. We just love knowing where our protein comes from. And I also have some cabbage left over because I made some sauerkraut this morning. I love sauerkraut. I always make sauerkraut in our house. We eat it with most meals. So I had some leftover cabbage, so I'm adding that to the meal tonight. I found some carrots. I found this capsicum in the fridge. But I just try to make meals with what I have. We're really not fancy. We keep things very simple, but then again, I try to make something delicious. I also found this like random bag of like mixed seeds, so I'm adding some of that to my salad as well. And then I'm making a dressing. Here is a super, super simple dressing. All you do is just Greek yogurt and some of our tomato relish. Super simple and really, really yummy. It's got this delicious like tang to it. If you want a little bit sweeter, you can add a little bit of honey as well. That makes it really yum. And then I'm just gonna mix all this like scrap that I found in the fridge together with some of this dressing. Again, I love simple cooking, but I want it to taste good. So just mixing it together. I really love adding like seeds and that sort of thing to salads. I just think it adds a really nice texture element and boosts the nutritional value of it as well. So I'm just cooking up the pork cutlet here, the leftover again from the restaurant. This pork is so good. And Devon, my husband, he's a chef. He's taught me to season everything, so salt and pepper on everything. And that's dinner tonight. Just a nice, simple slaw and the pork cutlet. I will say the chef came on later, and this is how we put the pork on the grill. He put it back on for a few minutes. Apparently that renders the fat a little bit. I'm super beginner in the kitchen, but he knows what he's doing, so I will listen. So this is the next day. I'm just getting some sourdough bread going. I'm just doing my stretch and folds. I really love to have some homemade bread in the house. I just have one simple recipe that I like to use. I will leave that linked below. I can't handle too many recipes. I really like to have one or just a few recipes of things, and preferably I really like to memorize them. It makes cooking so much easier and simpler. But this recipe I haven't memorized just yet. But it's a super simple bread recipe. And then also with sourdough today, I'm making some sourdough tortillas. So tonight we have taco night, Tuesday night taco night. I really love this recipe. It is just a beautiful, beautiful dough. It's really easy to work with. It's just a beautiful dough. Again, I'll leave this one linked below. But basically you have your flour and then you soften some butter and then you just mix that butter into the flour. I use my hands. It just makes it a lot easier, I think. So you mix it in with your hands. and then you add like the sourdough stuff, and then you just add like a little bit of water. I'm also feeding my starter here now too. I don't measure when I feed my sourdough starter. I'm a real rule breaker with sourdough. And it always, I don't know, it's always worked out really well. And then I'm just kneading it. So you knead it for a few minutes and it comes into this beautiful like ball of dough. And throughout the day as well, I'm still stretching and folding my sourdough bread. I'm doing something really exciting with this sourdough bread. You'll see later, I'm actually adding some mix-ins, which makes it a little bit fun. Very exciting. So now with my tortillas, I'm just dividing it up. So this depends on how big you want them. So because we're doing like small tortillas for our tacos tonight, I'm just going to cut them into 12 pieces. But if you want them bigger, you can do like 6 pieces as well and make like wraps out of them. Devon, who is my chef husband, taught me how to do this. You make a C shape with your hand and then you like roll it over each little thing to make these beautiful little balls. Okay, so now I'm adding my mix-ins to my bread. So when you add mix-ins to sourdough, you want to add it to the last stretch and fold. So I have toasted walnuts, and then I have some cranberries that were like soaking in orange juice. So this is an orange cranberry and toasted walnut loaf that I'm making. Delicious. Exciting thing happening in my kitchen is I have been experimenting with garlic, fermented garlic. So this is just a new trial. I just took it off the bench and I was seeing if Devon was game enough to try it. But it was good. It was really, really good. It's quite strong and it has this beautiful, beautiful flavor. I'm really happy with how it turned out. So yeah, fermented garlic. I'm trying things like this because at the farm at the moment, we are growing some elephant garlic, which is like huge garlic cloves. So I'm just trying to figure out exactly how I'm going to use it. And I thought fermenting some might be really nice. So I'm just doing a little trial batch now. So yeah, I'm just rolling out the tortillas, cooking them up. Devon's cooking up some beef as well, and then we just put everything down the center of the table. So we get our fermented garlic, some greens, some of that meat, some feta tonight. These were delicious.
Is that all that now?
Okay, now with the bread, you know when it's done fermenting because it jiggles like this. It's got this beautiful like jiggle, and they got these like bubbles on top. And also, if you press it, it will just slowly spring back. So that means that the fermentation is done. See, this one here is super bubbly. Everyone says don't use stainless steel for sourdough. I've never had a problem with it. I use it. Again, I break rules. I don't like too many rules. So what I'm doing now is I'm just dividing it up. I don't have any tools for my sourdough. I'm a real beginner. I'm keeping it super simple in my kitchen. So I'm just scooping it out onto the bench. I probably could get a scraper here. It probably would make my life easier, wouldn't it? And then I'm just cutting this in half because the recipe that I've linked below, it does make 2 loaves. Just shaping them now. You want to let them sit out for a little bit. They get like a bit of a skin to them a little bit. And then you just fold each edge of it in. So what this does, it creates tension on the outside of the loaf. And then you just drag it against the bench, again, creating tension. So basically we're just trying to create this gorgeous, tight little ball of dough. I'm very beginner with my sourdough, so But I think that's really great because even beginners can make bread, make this beautiful bread. It always turns out really good, even though I don't have all of the skills or the equipment 100%. It turns out really good. I'm just doing a slit on top and I'm actually going to bake these straight away. And they turned out so good. Okay, so here we are. We are doing another dinner tonight. We have family coming over, so we're doing a big like roast. So we're just prepping some veggies now. Huxley's helping. We're just doing a veggie bake with like some meat. Just like a beef roast, and we're just putting it all on a pan. If ever I have to host dinner, this is my go-to meal. It's just a one-pan bake. You could put like a whole chicken with veg. Tonight we have like a beef roast with veg. You could do any sort of meat and just throw meat and veggies on a tray and bake it. You do want to think of the size. So like if you're doing like smaller bits of meat, you want smaller bits of veg, and like just thinking about that. The roast that we put on, it was actually one that Devon had prepped from the kitchen, so it was actually already cooked. So we just needed to heat it through and cook the veggies. So we didn't cut the veggies too big tonight. But that's the only thing with these one pan sheet dinners that you need to think about is just trying to make sure everything cooks at the same pace. But they're super simple. It's my favorite way to do any sort of entertaining with a lot of people. It's super simple. So we just toss it all on a pan, some olive oil, some seasoning. I like a Mediterranean, our Mediterranean seasoning that we sell in our store. It's like garlic, our own herbs, and some salt. I just sprinkle that on top. It keeps it super, super simple. Nothing too complicated. So here's Devon's just cutting the veggies now. These are some of our own farm-grown potatoes.
Means I'll have a week like this week. I won't go. I'll be going to Whitbird until Friday. It's a month. I think we should do a farm week.
Just toss it all in a pan, olive oil, some Mediterranean salt, and then it is good to go. And some cracked pepper, of course. Okay, so also for dinner tonight, I'm going to make like a little snack, a little appetizer for people to have just when they get here. I am making just a super simple dip. So all we're doing is just cream cheese and tomato relish, or any sort of relish like zucchini relish, beetroot relish. This is just a super simple dip to make, and it's always really, really delicious. So you just get the cream cheese, put it in some sort of container, and then just tip the relish on top. If you want to, you can combine them. I've done that before just to make something a little bit different, but to be honest, the easiest way is just to put it in a container, put some relish on top of it, and then serve it with some crackers. You can just do regular crackers, or you can do like crostinis. You can make some crostinis if you like. The sourdough bread, just slice it thinly, bake it in the oven. That's a really, really great side to have with this dip. But tonight I'm just using good old Jats. Just keeping it super, super simple. Okay, so this is the next night now. That family dinner was so good. Everything was really, really delicious. And I had a few leftovers. I had some leftover veggies and I was just trying to figure out how to use it. So I just finished a busy day at the restaurant today and I was exhausted. And I really didn't want to make anything too fancy. I just wanted something quick and easy. So what I'm doing here is I'm used to using some of my sourdough discard. This is my go-to recipe. All you do is just discard, spread it out on a tray. I'm just feeding my sourdough starter here now. It's really, this recipe is a really good way to get rid of a heap of sourdough, so you can give it a really good feed and keep it nice and healthy. But yeah, just discard, spread out on a tray, and then you just put your toppings on top of it and then bake it. It is super, super simple. And to be honest, people think sourdough is really difficult, but to have a starter in your fridge or on your counter is just a really quick and easy way to make a meal. This meal tonight took me like 5 minutes. It was delicious. And then you just bake it. I just topped it with some feta and a little bit of like sweet chili, and it was a super simple, really delicious meal. And of course I added some sauerkraut. I add sauerkraut to everything. This is a really beautiful, simple meal. Thanks for joining me this week to see what we eat with my family of 3 in my farmhouse. And check out this gorgeous rainbow that finished the day. It was magical.